First, even if you love your job, work can still be stressful, exhausting, and all-consuming. And sometimes, of course, you take your work home with you, right? So, how can you leave work at work? We're answering your questions this morning. Career coach Chrissy Civic from Eat Your Career here to explain how I'm sure everyone out there at some point has taken their job home with them, and it's affected their family, their friends. How do we avoid doing this?
You know, even more than that, it also does affect your performance at work because you don't get any sort of break time, and that can lead to burnout. Yeah, so the first thing I would recommend is make sure that you're always updating your to-do list right before you go home. It should be the last thing you do before leaving work. Get all of those tasks that are kind of floating around in your head, get them on paper. Those are the types of things that can just really distract you when you go home. They kind of pull at the edges of your mind. You're always thinking about them.
What I forget to do, what I need to do.
Put them on paper, and then you can forget about it because you know it's going to be there waiting for you when you get back.
Right. Okay, so your next tip here, create a transition ritual.
Yes.
What is this?
This is my own personal term. So basically what I'm talking about here is that time between when you leave work and when you get home. That's a transition period, and you really want to use that to consciously shift out of work mode and into home mode. You know, a lot of us tend to be kind of different at work. We're a little more aggressive, we're tougher, and when we get home, we want to be that warm, loving parent and spouse. So choose some sort of activity that helps you release the workday and helps you kind of transition into that more personal side of yourself. Go to the gym, take a long walk, call your best friend, something like that.
Sometimes, too, at the end of the day, it can be the most stressful at work, so you want to have to, I guess, come down from that towards the end of the day, and instead of just going straight home after that, right?
Right, exactly. It's that transition. You're consciously moving from one part of your life to the other.
Yeah, that's good advice there. Okay, managing time effectively. How do we do this? We all want advice on how to do this.
Right, absolutely. So if you're not managing your time effectively, then it makes sense that you would want to take your work home with you, right? You're not getting enough done during the day. So you want to focus on boosting productivity. The seminal book about this is Getting Things Done by David Allen. I recommend that everybody read it, implement those strategies, and then you're going to feel better about leaving work at work because you know you've been working at 100% capacity while you've been there.
I skipped one. Turning off devices. This has got to be the most important one here.
It's huge. Yeah, I mean, technology is probably the biggest problem, and we tend to forget that as the human being in the relationship, we're the ones in charge, right?
Right.
So we should be going through some sort of a blackout period in the evening. It doesn't have to be for the whole evening, but you should disconnect for a portion of the time. I always tell people, follow the rules that you give your kids, right? And then set a limit for when you do go back and check those devices. You want to make sure that you're not just saying, oh, I'm going to send this one quick email. It never works like that. You always get sucked into the vortex. So set a time limit.
Well, maybe, again, some people just can't get away from it. I mean, imagine doctors, people like that. So you want to give yourself some limitations with that if you absolutely have to have
when you're going to start, when you're going to stop.
Okay, perfect. And also managing expectations, right?
Yes. You want to manage the expectations of the people around you. There are plenty of people out there who don't mind taking their work home with them, and they spend all night working, and they assume that everyone has the same lifestyle. But just because they do it doesn't mean you have to. You just have to set new expectations with them. Tell them what to expect from you. When you're at home, you might be a little bit slower responding to phone calls and emails. Give them a time frame that they can expect those things. You might need to renegotiate some deadlines, set some new boundaries with people. But the more that you can kind of proactively manage those expectations, the easier it is for you to keep that commitment to yourself, to really focus on your personal life when you're at home.
Keep yourself sane, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Great advice. Thank you, Chrissy. Of course, you can find more information in the on-air section of our website, kdvr.com. Just click on the link to Eat Your Career. 7:45 now, Jennifer Broom and Melody standing by over in the Pinpoint Weather Center now.